Father, we are always thankful for the day you give us to live here in your creation in this county. Thankful for the beauty that you created. We do ask you to be with us as we meet, as we discuss, and as we decide on the issues that come before us. We pray that you'll give us your wisdom and guidance. We ask that we be able to continue and carry on an orderly meeting, and we ask that we allow the citizens to hear and be aware of what we're about and what we're doing, and we ask that you make things clear to us. And I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I have two items that I would like to add to the agenda. The first one would be to appoint a person to the Water and Sewer Authority. And I'd like to add that, we make a motion that we add that as item 15.
Mr. Chairman, could we possibly move that up to the beginning short and just after the beginning of new business?
All right.
Just as a combination for
This
a couple
will
of
become item 1 of new business.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So I will modify my motion on that. And also to approve the engineering costs for the road slide at Old, I want to make sure I'm saying this right, Old Bucktown Road. And I have no preference as to where that should be. If you like, we can just make that item 2 under new business.
So, no preference.
So that is in the form of a motion. Second. Are there any other additions?
No.
All in favor? Aye. First item will be approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any corrections to the minutes tonight?
None, I'll make a motion that we accept them as written.
Do we need to
Do we need to do that?
Incorporate that.
Okay.
I'll second that. All in favor? Oh, I thought we were incorporating it.
That's fine.
Well, no, I want to do it right. So this is the work session of April 13th, the public hearing of April 14th, and the regular meeting of April 14th. Are you okay with adding that to your motion?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Sandy, do you want to give us a financial statement, please?
This is the financial report for March 31st. Each department should be at 25% of their budget used. Departments over budget at March 31st were voter registrar at 30.66%, airport at 32.59%, juvenile court fund at 69%. Overall, we are at 20.24% of the total revenue budget received and 21.51% of the total expenditure budget used. Total revenue received to date, $3,837,819. Total expenditures to date, $4,078,797.
Anybody have any questions or comments on the financial statement?
Sandy, would you please explain why my airport
I
was
will.
over budget?
We paid an annual invoice for aviation insurance in March, and that is why he's over budget. It will regulate toward the end of the year.
Two.
Two invoices.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Thanks, Sandy. Okay, the first item of old business is action on an email solution. I think we decided we were going to table that one more time. So I would make a motion that we table that until next month.
Second that.
Any comments? All in favor? Aye. That brings us to an appointment for the Water and Sewer Authority. Billy Rowe is currently on the board and his term is expiring. We do have one other candidate, but that person is already serving on another board. And the request is to have Billy Rowe reappointed to the Water and Sewer Authority, and as I understand it, he is willing to serve. So, do y'all have any other candidates that you want to mention? If not, I'd make a motion that we reappoint Billy Rowe to the Water and Sewer Authority for another term.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item is to approve engineering costs for Croy Engineering. This is engineering costs that are associated with the road slide that we have on the Old Bucktown Road. For those of you who may not be familiar with that, for a good sized little stretch of that road, about half of it just caved in and went down the hill. And we're going to have quite a time and an expense in getting this all put back together. An awful lot of which is going to be mitigation for the stream, Ticonelli stream directly below it, and for the hillside going down to that stream. A lot of EPD and Corps of Engineers involved, and we do have to have a professional engineering for this. Now, one good thing about it is that we're anticipating that FEMA will cover most of the expense for this. But for now, we have to go ahead and get this engineering started, and it is going to be, in total for the year, more than what my limit for approval is. So, that being said, does anybody, any commissioners have any questions about the costs or the plan that's in front of you there?
The only thing I would like to recommend or make the motion that would include a start date of immediately, and I think this is probably, Jim, correct me, about a 3-month time frame that we might state in here, that expected estimated completion date of July, end of July. Would that be?
I thought there was some prohibitions against working in May and June because of the
Well, actual work, Commissioner, but this does
Just
not
preliminary.
preclude us from going ahead with the engineering permits and things like that. We can't actually do any work in the stream during the hatching season of the gold mine budget. And Chairman Parrish has already alluded to the fact that these costs, as well as the construction costs, are part of that disaster declaration. 75% of the cost will be paid by FEMA, 10% of the cost will be paid by the state of Georgia. So 15% of the cost we have to bear.
Are there any other questions or concerns about engineering that has to be done?
I would make a motion, I think, Charlie, that we authorize the chairman to sign this agreement and begin the engineering work immediately. Actually, some of it has been already pre-approved, I think, by you, Charlie, a couple phases or steps.
Task 1 and Task 2.
Right. That those be approved immediately and an expected completion date of the end of July.
Any comments or questions?
Did I make that clear enough? Okay.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is action on a FICA tax reduction program by BIPCO. I'm not sure we're ready to actually take action on this.
Mr. Chairman, it's a brand new program that's, our Human Resources Director has no experience, nor can she find any of her peers across the state with any experience. There are savings to the county, there's no doubt about that, but I did look at a worksheet today that reviewed a scenario where future FICA payments to an individual would be reduced. I personally need more time to digest. It's such a new, I'm not sure we've thought through all the ramifications of it yet. I'm not ready to act.
I'm in agreement with that same, from what I was able to see and study yesterday. I think it's premature for us to take action as well.
Would anyone like to make a motion to table it until it's on read?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have a zoning request from Russell and Lita Hood for A1 agricultural to A1 agricultural with conditional use. This, I believe, is this is a wedding venue that will be considered here. Do we have anybody here to speak specifically to this zoning proposal today? Okay. And it was approved by planning and zoning, as I understand it. All right. I would make a motion then that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm not going to be in favor, Charlie, and let me explain that to you. We've had a previous one with a wedding venue, and it was my judgment in that previous case that I felt the activities fell under a different permitted use, and so I did decline or vote against that one at that time. And I think that's actually the same case here. I feel my judgment is that it falls under a different permitted use already, and so I'm going to vote no just to explain why I'm doing that.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. But the ayes have it. So that
Right.
is approved. The second rezoning is for Page Pineville, R1 residential low density to R1 residential low density with conditional use. This is to renovate a guest house that's on the property. Is there anyone here to speak specifically to this rezoning request? Are there any questions?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second that. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Okay, the next rezoning request is from Mark S. Holt, A1 agricultural to A1 agricultural with conditional use. This is a request for a motocross track that would be off-road road, I believe. Do we have anyone here that would like to speak to this specific rezoning request? And this one, as I understand, was denied by the planning and zoning board. I would make a motion that this request be denied.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir.
What's the rationale behind the denial?
In my mind, a couple of things. First of all, I don't believe that this is in line with the planning that we have for Gilmer County. You know, it's included with the zoning and planning. I believe that the land disturbance, because of the proximity, would be would not allow it, whether we approve it or not. And I'm also concerned with the level of activity associated with the motocross track that would interfere with the quality of life of the people who live nearby. Now, that would be my personal reasons.
But the official reason was that it's just not allowed use.
I don't know that there really even has to be an official reason.
Okay, thank you.
David, keep me honest.
Well, essentially what y'all have looked at and have reviewed, is y'all didn't conduct a public hearing, but you looked at the information that's been provided to you by the planning commission, you looked at the comprehensive plan of the county, and you've seen their argument that in fact it didn't comport or fit into that comprehensive plan, and that's what you were adopting tonight, is their recommendation denying the application.
Right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I didn't hear all of that, but I want to just indicate that I am a person that lives in that area that I am for personal.
I should probably mention that, and I think this is true for everybody up here, but I can only speak for myself. There is nothing that I have received more emails, more phone calls, more letters about than this particular proposal. And to date, of the emails, letters, and phone calls that I have received, they have been 100% in opposition. I have not received any communication from anyone who was in favor of the proposal. Any other questions or comments? Did we vote on this?
Had a motion and a second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, the next rezoning request is for James R. True, R1 residential low density to A1 agricultural. And, hang on just 1 second. Refresh my memory.
11 Ross Street, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, this would be for an addition from Oklahoma Suite. Are there any, is there anyone here to speak specifically to this rezoning request? Okay, and this was approved by planning and zoning.
I'll make a motion that we approve this request.
I will second that. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, the final rezoning request is for Richard L. and for Tricia T. Borden, R1 residential low density to R2 residential high density. I believe this was because of the size of the lot, was it not, that,
The sale was 1 acre, and that was insufficient to build on.
right, with high density, it would have to be a minimum of 3, I believe, in this employment, so.
The R1.
Right, okay, so this is why the request to,
And there is R2 in that area already. It's not isolated.
okay, good. Is there anyone here to speak specifically to this rezoning request? If not, I would make a motion that it be approved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, to authorize the execution of fiscal year 16-17 North Georgia Community Action Agreement for rural public transportation service. This is the mandatory max proposal that we see on every agenda. Are there any questions or comments about this one? If not, I would make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Final adoption of the amendments to Article 1, Chapter 50, Section 50-1, titled Collection of Tax on Harvested Timber of the Gilmer County Code. Is there anyone that would like to comment or has questions on this particular issue?
I would just say there's been a lot of work put into this by a lot of people from the DNR and from other folks and from the timber harvesting community in that, and I think it's been a good approach to making these amendments. I think it's been well worked over. So I'd make a motion that we accept this. Adopt this. Is that the correct term, David?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Adopting the first reader to amend Gilmer County Code related to the purchases by the Board of Commissioners and disposal of surplus property. This is a change that we're making because we have a lot of very old surplus property that we need to rid ourselves of. And our current ordinance specifies that we have to run an ad specifying the serial number of every individual item. And it gets very expensive very quickly to do that. Not to mention being a very cumbersome process. So this change would eliminate the requirement that every piece of surplus equipment be advertised with serial number. Are there any questions or comments on this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, the reason why serial numbers are utilized is for tracking and to make sure that things that shouldn't be sold are not sold. What are we going to put into place of that as safeguards to make sure that whatever the purpose of the serial numbers was, it's still going to be covered when we eliminate serial numbers?
It's not so much that we're eliminating the serial numbers as we're proposing to eliminate the ad entirely and allow the commissioners to dispose of this equipment in whatever manner is deemed to be in the best interest of the county. Let me give you a little bit of an example. A few months ago, we had, 50 old voting machines that we had to dispose of. And these were, ancient old machines, no value to anybody. And we had to have somebody go by and get serial numbers off of all 50 of these machines. And then we had to run an ad in the paper saying these machines are going to be disposed of if you'd like to buy one if you have any interest. And we had to list 50 of these old voting machines. And it was a very expensive ad. And I think we got $2 total for the 50 machines. And that's not an uncommon situation. The equipment that we're talking about getting rid of is non-functional. Believe me, if it still runs, Gilmer County still uses it.
It's just property is such a broad term. First thing I thought it was land.
No. This would not be land or anything like that. This is intended for old, worn-out equipment that we need to get rid of. and to save the cost of having to run an ad like this in the paper that can run several $100s if you've got 50 voting machines. So it's, we just don't want to spend that money on this sort of thing.
I think it's a fair statement to say that the stuff was accumulating
Yeah.
partly due to the cumbersome nature of the ordinance.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
We
We need a
just,
motion.
We didn't have, that didn't have motions. Oh, I don't remember them.
no. Okay, ignore that.
Rewind.
I will make a motion. I thought I made the motion.
You called for comments after the motion.
After the motion?
Yes.
I never got a motion.
I don't,
Okay, maybe I didn't get a second.
I didn't have.
I didn't get a motion.
I didn't
All
even get a
right,
motion.
let's just back up. I make a motion that we accept this, that we adopt the first reader for this.
I'll say.
All right. With the motion and the second, all in favor? Aye. All right, we'll get there. Adopting the first reader to amend Article 2, Chapter 10, titled Alcoholic Beverages of the Gilmer County Code. I missed one, what I did?
It's not
Number
Article
10. 10 would be,
a new chapter, regulations on the rivers.
Yeah, that's because I just checked 10 is complete, when I'd already checked 9 is complete, so we'll do that. Adopting the first reader for a new chapter to the Code of Ordinances of Gilmer County to be entitled Regulations on Rivers in the Unincorporated Areas of the County. Yes, sir.
Reading through the articles right through here, I guess based the commercial river out there, unincorporated areas.
Can we get you to come to the podium and speak into the microphone?
Usually I'm loud enough, everybody can hear me.
Oh, the recorder can.
All right. Everybody always says I'm loud.
We got to get you on the recorder.
Woody, let me see what sheet you got.
That's
That's not what we're talking about.
now, or are we still?
That's later on the agenda, that's not,
one pass.
What are we on, what is this?
this is alcohol.
No, not that.
No,
Just-
Where were you at on that?
This one.
Can I read through this real quick, Charles?
Sir.
Sure.
All right, cool, thank you, sir.
While Woody's reading through that, is there anyone else who would like to make any comments or has any questions on this?
50 feet of.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
Okay. This
You
is,
would.
My name is Rick Dave. I live at 998 Greenfield in LJ. I want to show you talk about the same thing. This is talking about enforcing alcohol code on the river prohibition.
Yes.
Okay. My only comment is that I wonder if this is just a more unnecessary government that we need to be looking at. I thought that the philosophy of this board was try to keep government small and effective. But the main thing is enforcement. How are we going to enforce this thing? Are we going to force our sheriff's department to learn how to swim, put on waders, get out there and check people? We're going to have sobriety checks on the river. I mean, it's a good feeling, and I know that this is what the landowners want to hear, because according to what I hear, the landowners would rather nobody use the river. They only have their own part. They don't like people using the river that the county owns. So my only concern is enforcement. It's just, you're making it more crime. It's going to be a misdemeanor for somebody to have, a beer, out on the river. And it just seems like it's a little bit of overkill. I understand the concern. I understand that the landowners are concerned about litter and people having fun generally. But I just feel like that this is unenforceable. And I would hate to lose an officer in the river while he's trying to enforce a law like this, because he may or may not know how to swim or not have an issue. I just don't think it's worth the safety of our law officers to be enforcing a particular law like this. We already have laws about public drunkenness, open drinking, open container, And I just think that this might be a little bit of an overkill. Thank you.
This is one of those situations where a few bad apples spoil it for everyone. And I don't think it's so much that the landowners don't want anybody to have fun, but I do think that they don't want people using their backyards as bathrooms and
That's when you
knocking
call
on
the
their door at
police.
3 a.m. and so forth.
That's
when we call the police.
That's when you do
Oh, come on up.
bring the authorities. Come on up, dude.
Well, right now, we need to give them something that they can use when they're calling.
What?
Whether it's trespassing, public drunk, or any of those, it's already in place, right?
We've actually, we do own one of the outfitters, okay, one that we're looking at this other proposal already, okay, we've got, I guess we've got skin in the game on both. With us having skin in the game, we're trying to, I guess, build Gilmer as it's not really a Helen type atmosphere, but as as an environment that everybody can enjoy. We even did a river cleanup. 98% of the trash we pull off, which we didn't voicemail earlier, is about 600 to 800 pounds. 98% of it was non-alcoholic. It was trash that was just swept from people, okay? Not beer cans. It wasn't, it wasn't some drunk guy that, just happened to just, die. We didn't pick him up, we bring him up, all right? That's where the public drunk comes into play. If they do trespass, you call. We've got these laws into place. We have actually incorporated our own little personal rules only because of what we felt was right for families and other families and also residents. That you cannot take more than a small personal cooler with a zipper because that way it contains it. You take a plastic bottle, you flip, it's gone, okay? You have it within a cooler, zipped, tied, and within your, within your area. You flip, it's gonna be there.
We tell everyone as they're eating or drinking or whatever, unzip the cooler, put it back in.
Put it back in.
It's the only thing we allow. We do not allow any cooler tubes like other places do where you stick a whole big cooler with a case of beer or whatever. People get way too drunk and it splits over and it's in a river.
And then we've taken it up, which happens. It's happened a lot.
It's just like the other gentleman said, it seems like all these laws are already in place. Or there was only 5 calls last year from the Carnegie River, and it was 2 different people. And
With 3 of them by the same lady.
right.
And it was kayakers that caused that fall.
And last time, I heard Travis was saying people at 2 o'clock in the morning coming up and knocking on people's doors. Well, that's nothing to do with, I don't know who that has to do with, and
I didn't say that.
you said you had complaints of people coming at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I did not say 2 o'clock in the morning. I
Yeah,
did.
you did.
But yes,
They could have been me.
There was
But I've
two-
been-
I'm sorry, later on,
3 months
Travis,
ago.
one of y'all said that, but I was sitting there thinking like, who, we
It's
just put those guys on
2
the
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's not, nothing to do with us.
Yeah, that's
And
weird.
if that happens, you call the cops.
But now this
If
is.
somebody knocks on my
directed
door, I
at
don't know,
y'all.
at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll call the cops.
But this is not directed at y'all specifically.
Yeah, but it's going to influence. It's going to influence it. Yes. We have a gentleman trying to get a beer license or something like that. That's a mile and a half from the main footing. Okay, it's going to directly influence his because all of a sudden people they're not going to go get a 6-pack or of waters or anything. They're just going to say, well, you know what, we don't need it. We'll just go someplace else. And they will. They will. They will leave the county and go to someplace other than Gilmer. Okay, they'll go afterwards. They'll go other than us. And that's what I guess we're trying to build commerce. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring people in, which we have. We've slowly grown, and I know a lot of the residents probably have gone, well, this is going to be a pain. But we're trying to regulate it our personal selves. We have. Philip and I have personally.
But I mean, that's what, we worked so hard to keep all this in place.
Yeah.
And the volume of people we put down, you had 5 calls and it's from 2 different, they just call all the time anyway. You know,
Now, Jay,
it's-
how many employees how many people do you employ here in the city? And how much economic impact do you have on the county?
How many employees?
You know, people
Probably
who work for you.
4 or 5 at the most.
Yeah.
Myself and Philip are the mains, and then we have
we bring
like
we bring a lot of
three, maybe
people.
4 drivers. Yeah, but I mean, county-wise, I don't know how many people. I mean, we, according to what they said last time, up with a 500 day. I mean, close, I wish it was. But on a weekend, yeah, weekend during Memorial Day through probably first part of August, on the weekends, probably 500 people. And then probably average between 50 to 65 to 75 people, maybe a little bit more during the week.
And the county gets a dollar off each one of them.
Well, they're getting ready, they're trying to, yes, that's a proposal that they're trying to do on that also. So yeah, along with other people getting impacted too. Yeah, there's a lot of laws getting out there that are already in place, like the gentleman's already said, that can already be enforced. We can enforce it, it's easy. It's not, I mean, they're out there already.
I think it was 2 months ago too, we was sitting here listening to all this stuff, and at the end, I think it was you, sir, that said, well, legally, I don't even know how we could do this, to eliminate alcohol on private land. I mean, that's how it ended. Was it 2 months ago?
Yeah, about 2 minutes, I don't know, it's a lot, I thought it was kind of resolved, but I guess it's kind of, came back up.
But I mean, what we were doing was like 50 feet off the bank also, so if you live on the Kusawati or the Carnegie,
Well,
you
they have
can't
it
sit in the yard
designated
and,
where, they have it designated where the landowners can actually have it.
that's how it was last time. I didn't see that one. I thought this was the,
We're trying to bring an economic help to here, okay? Everything helps. We try, we're working our butt off to actually do it. We actually, we try our best to do good things, really. We're not abusing.
well, I mean, if someone is drunk on the river and acting up, call, there's a cop there at Blackberry. And I was talking to him last summer, and this cop been working there for 5 years. He said he's arrested 3 people. It was the same day. It was a love triangle. Local people in the parking lot. And that's all he's been 5 years. So, I mean, it's just, it seems to be getting blown out of proportion.
It's transferred to where it's, I guess, we're bad. We're bad for everybody. I mean, we're bringing too many people, there's too much fun going on. Everybody's having just too good of a time. Okay, I don't know. That's almost what it seems like to me in this setting. So, I don't know what else to say on it, man. It's just,
Part of the
it seems like it's
problem,
overkill.
part of the problem, you talk about enforcing existing laws. The state of Georgia this session introduced a bill that specifically excludes tubing from public drunkenness charges. So there is no opportunity to use that anymore on a inner
What happens when they get out on the
Yeah, you gotta get out.
county road? How are they gonna get out? They're just gonna stand.
You gotta get out, and there's a policeman right there. I mean, I work in EMS, I know it's all tied in, if someone lady calls and says, hey, this guy's doing something in my yard, so he gets back on the river, well, the cop, he is gonna pick him up.
And they gotta get out. I mean, they
Yeah.
can't stand it. They've
I mean,
got
that's fine, I mean, nobody likes a drunk guy in their yard doing something crazy. I mean, that's what the cops are for.
And we started, I'm not trying to say anything, but we started the sheriff down there with his patrol car. He would sit down there for the first 2 years, and then Blackberry's taking over. So,
Let me comment on Blackberry taking it over. Actually, that's Blackberry Mountain Homeowners Association and the River's Edge Homeowners Association, because those two associations are sort of back to back and have a share ownership of that area, of that office space. I am the president of the River's Edge Homeowners Association. We pay half the salary for the guy that you're talking about. And let me tell you, we don't want to. This is not, well, I mean, the point though.
We did before.
The point though is, it shouldn't be necessary, but it is.
Well, yeah.
And even though he's not arresting people, he's having people move along, he's having people stop, he's keeping them off of private property around here and so forth. So, I don't think the fact that, that Blackberry and River's Edge has felt the need to, out of their own funds, fund a policeman there on weekends is necessarily a good argument.
That's fine. I mean, I mean, you guys can alleviate that and just say, hey, look, from May 15th through September 15th, you as an entity or since we're paying all these fees, that we're going to eliminate these fees by, okay, you take care of security, make sure it's a sheriff, it's got to be a sheriff on duty, do that, and we'll take it. We know when it gets busy. You guys had, how long have you had the sheriff down there? For the month and a half, last month? I don't know when you guys had him down there. You know how many people have been on the river on a weekend? He's sitting down there and absolutely not doing a whole lot at all right now. But we know when it gets busy. We understand. We know the river. I mean, we've been doing this. We've built it. You guys have hired him for the last month. I mean, I'll take the job. I mean, I'd love to do that, not do anything.
And we do that because we know what we come into on Monday morning when there's nobody there over the weekend. And it's an ugly sight.
No, we'd pick it all up.
Now it is
Absolutely
because
nobody.
that other business, some of the trash service, they stopped paying it.
Yep.
I personally, every day last summer I drove, I went down every morning and checked that place, every morning.
We
Me personally.
pick it up. And we
If there
actually
was
have
anything
people-
there, I picked it up.
Okay, so what you're saying is we don't have to hire this guy anymore.
We're not hiring. No, let it fire. I'll pick him up. Tell him to come talk to me. I'll bring him on. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you can go to the homeowner association and say, look, man, this guy Woody, he's got a big head, he's a fine guy, work with him. You know, I'll do it. I'll take it on. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's what we've done in the past. It's what we started. And you guys have now taken it to that yours, and you guys started a month and a half before anything. And what Phil was saying is the other outfitter that was actually picking up trash down there, and the trash, they haven't done nothing as far as picking up trash. It's been sitting for the last month and a half. I called them, sent text, whatever. It's his. It has all this stuff on it. We've picked up around it, we throw it away, and we clean it. And we clean up and around it. People still throw down there because their garbage cans are down there. So now it's basically a public trash. They should dump it off. So
You gotta save yourself too in open states. In this case, with a few bad apples is full of everything. Why let that happen? Why not just, those few bad apples, if they did something, I'm sure the cops got called. I would imagine.
How many calls do we?
Honestly, when I go down the river, I want to have a couple of beers. I'm not going to be in someone's yard. I'm not going to be offensive or anything like that. But it's,
That just means you're not one of the bad apples.
yeah. Well, I mean, why let the bad apple? Why let them run the show? You know, when you just call the cops if somebody's doing something stupid.
You're creating more laws for the 1%. You're creating new laws for the 1%. It's what, I mean, it's what's happening. I mean, we're creating additional laws for the 1%.
Let me ask you this, because, and I don't say that I know that this is true or not true. You may. But information that has come to me would seem to indicate that once the alcohol is banned from the river, that visitation actually goes up rather than going down.
No. More than likely, you never know. I mean, it's a coin flip on that. I mean, heck, you never know. Maybe we'll get the people from Utah coming in the mornings. we'll get them coming in. I mean, they'd love to come down here and do it for as long as there's no alcoholic beverages. You know, I mean, yeah, it may work, I don't know. But more likely, no, I think they'll deviate to a different area is what they're gonna do. Now, I don't know how we're gonna enforce it on our end. All of a sudden, you got a family of 6 that, you know, I mean, again, we had this question last time. Am I supposed to go through the coolers? You guys said, really? I'm not really allowed to. I asked them first things first, is if they have any glass. They have to have a small portion cooler with a zipper to keep everything contained. I asked every one of them, do they have glass first? They do, then they take it out. They're not allowed to have glass on the river. I got kids, I'm not having glass, okay? We can't go through the coolers, that's their personal property. We're not law enforcement. We just can't, we can't enforce this. So you're asking basically us to pretend that we're law enforcement to enforce these laws that are already on the books, they're already in place for public drunk people getting off. They're not gonna float forever. They've got to get off on private property. They got to get off on public land. They got to get off on DNR property. They got to get off the river. If they can float forever, I love that.
There is a provision on the other ordinance that you were first looking at,
Yes, sir.
where the participants would sign an acknowledgement that alcohol is prohibited, assuming this goes through. That would be a part, and that would take all the
Legality,
pressure off of you.
Okay.
You are no longer responsible for that. You would not be held liable.
That was the intent of that.
So
They signed that form, they've acknowledged.
are you guys going to print up these forms continuously and give me about 700,000 of them? So I have it? Because each person, each family, each person has to sign each one, right? If they're over 21 and over, each person has to sign each one. You guys going to come and collect them each day? To collect those versus me having to drive here and give them to you. You guys going to collect those?
Periodically.
No, not periodically. Where am I going to store? I've already got enough storage. I've already got enough areas that I'm already stored out. I mean, I got to keep my waivers for a 3-year process. I can't keep forms that you guys are making us fill out for you guys and then periodically. What's the periodically? What day?
You can put it on the same piece of paper as your waiver that they're signing anyway.
Can't.
Well, I think the long and the short of it is we just don't need this. It's already, the law's already there, enforcement's already there. And the majority of people that go to the river, myself included, if I'm going fishing or tubing or something, I'm gonna have a couple of beers. It's just part of relaxing to most people. And it's taking that away.
It's a recreational club. It's fun. It's for the families. It's not, it's just a fun environment. And we're trying to overcome it. Is what it's turning out to be.
It's also through a pretty highly densely residential area.
Yes, it is. You are correct.
It's created tension. Georgia Canoeing Association, those guys that came up, they say eliminate alcohol and eliminate most of the problem. Try to listen to everybody.
Have you ever been up there and seen their canoes or their kayaks when they put on?
Look at their canoes.
Yeah, you look at their kayaks and their canoes. Yeah, and then you tell eliminate the alcohol. They got 2 or 3 beers stuffed in the back and a small person cooler. They got them in the back. Guaranteed out of, if they've got 50 people from GCA up here, I guarantee 25 have a beer or 2 on the river. Am I lying?
The other ones, I think people enjoy whiskey more.
Yeah.
than beer.
Well, no.
Well, but that's a prime example. They come up here, they go down the river, they drink, they don't cause no problems.
That's tough. I mean, I know.
Most of the people are like that. I'm sure they pick up trash along the way, like you're a boater, I'm a boater. Backpackers, you always come out more than you would ever.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of the boaters. In the boating world, you know this, you're a boater. That's 99% of us. And the tubers, like I said, we keep everything in a cooler, attached to the tube. We're strong for the environment, keep our roof clean. We put all the stuff into effect ourselves. No one else around here does this. For the purpose of keeping this river clean. We do a river cleanup every year.
Let's cut to the chase here. We have a problem, and we all recognize, I think, that there's a problem. So what is your proposed solution to the problem?
Let law enforcement handle it. If someone's drunk, acting an idiot, let them call the cops, just like everybody else.
Have no more than six beverages per person.
Actually,
Yeah,
Jim,
back to how do we do that?
let me just,
Go ahead.
gentlemen, I suspect your liability insurance has an exclusion for the consumption of alcohol and the participation of
I
the.
can forward it to you. I don't.
I would strongly suspect that it does have an exclusion because again, you're participating in a dangerous activity. But the board looked at the Helen, the tubing conditions there in Helen, and it's not, the ban of alcohol hasn't actually impacted the city with respect to the tubing activities. It's actually thriving. But I would be very surprised if there's not an exclusion in your general liability policy for the consumption of alcohol.
I mean, more like it could be.
Yeah, and one time down the trip and somebody has a severe injury, bam, that's it. So I'd be careful what I was advocating because again, the risk exposure is pretty high.
We're not advocating drinking.
We're just saying the laws are already there.
And we've had a lot of people come to us over the last 2 weeks saying, yeah, we don't go to Helen a lot. And now they're coming here, okay? Just Helen, it's a very thriving town, it is. It is, I mean, but they've actually promoted a lot internally.
And see, the second step of this was actually the commercial outfitters, the enactment of the ordinance that would regulate the commercial outfitters. And the county's going to ask for to be shown as an additional insured on the liability policy. And of course, we're going to want to see that. Again, I would I can't imagine, because you go participate in an activity like parachuting or anything like that, hang gliding or anything like that, there's no consumption of alcohol, and you generally sign a waiver that there's been no consumption of alcohol before you participate in that activity.
Parachute is a little different too.
Well, I know the county's going to want to be insured once they adopt that outfitters regulation.
Just a quick question to you. In the case where a public citizen used a water right-of-way for any type of personal recreational activity, has the county ever been successfully sued as a result of any accidents that happened in that? Can you recall this ever being a situation that causes you the concern that you would want this policy for the county?
And not to my knowledge, but again, simply because I don't have knowledge of it doesn't mean it can't occur, nor does it exist. There's exposure.
You see that before you would require something that's strict on a business, that some due diligence would be done to see if it's necessary.
Unfortunately.
There's also the use of the county-owned property as a takeout. That is definitely county property. That's not the river corridor, and there has been an accident that involved a family member of Woody on that parking lot, which happened to be county
You bring
property.
it up again, Travis, I appreciate you. Thanks for bringing it up one more time, that'll work.
Well, I mean, the
That's
point
about
is,
that's about 3 times now you brought it up, so yes, we all understand that. We understand. But yeah, there has been, that's why we somewhat eliminated the parking down there, which previous commissioners actually helped. And it did eliminate the kids. It eliminated safety issues. I mean, it did. And it's helped. And we've done due diligence ourselves to take precautions, to take everything that we could. Like the gentleman said, we try to stay a step ahead of the game. We have. I've been in business. I was graduated from Ole Miss. I'm going to say that. I'll probably say that 3 times also. In business finance. Okay, I had to go through this. I've been in business. understand that if you don't take precautions prior to, then basically you're gonna take a loss, you're gonna lose. If you don't stay a step ahead of the game, which we have personally stay a step ahead of the game. Insurance policies, everything. Regulate people using alcohol. Okay. I don't know what the land rights was used for Moki, what it was regulated for prior to it was donated to the county. I don't know if it was regulated for recreational and commercial use. I don't know. Tried to look into it, could not find it. So we're trying to stay a step ahead of the game.
I don't want to just cut this off, but we've been going for a good while, so let's say 5 more minutes and that'll be.
Well, I mean, I don't know, it's basically, yeah, we're about done. I mean, I don't know, 5 minutes. I don't know if we need.
Maybe not.
Hold on, Mr.
We've been going quite a while.
Well, Mr. Warren Gilbert,
I'd like to speak on behalf of, I'm a property owner, I've lived here since 1999. I'm the third house and the second house for a grandpa at the end of the morning. I'm number 10 Kayak Village, Gary Foster, I'm the first one there, and I'm the third one, number 11 Kayak Village. Jay, through a mountain outdoor expeditions, we took canoes down, my kids took canoes down, we enjoyed the river tremendously throughout the years. I'm not sure how the Gilman County can go into private property and say, hey, we're going to regulate this private property. I own that river. If I want to sit in that river and have a beer, are you going to lock me out for it?
No, so there's
If I get on the river behind my house with a beer in my cooler and drive down to another man's property, are you going to arrest me for that? We haven't had property problems with the period. You've got another outfitter up here on your board who should be excluded from this battle. He should sit up there and just, because this is,
Now, I'm going to speak to that right now. I'm not in this
Hold on,
business.
speak.
I'm not in this business at
You
all.
can
I want that
rebuttal
recorded
in
in
just a
the minutes.
Are you through?
I am.
Okay. You've taken the shine out of the city by putting Walmart, Ruby Tuesdays and everything up through there. This was a great town. We had a great square. We've seen it just disappear. They drive through our place and go out to Blue Ridge and enjoy it. This man and that man, they bring commerce to this town. They bring restaurants. They bring commerce to your shop. I've heard them sit here and say, go up there, get a PFD. They got great stuff, cotton boots, this, that, and that. They promote your business. Woody's done a lot. I can tell you that Jay, when he ran, he didn't do a whole lot. He went down that river and he depended on Bob Bennett, who ran the River Right outfitted before Woody took over or before Christie had it. It was a chaotic place. And it came off the piers and it floated down behind my house, and I didn't like that. But what I can tell you right now is that Gilmer County's got trash in the river, under the bridge by Hardee's. It's been there since December 24th. And today it's still there. Nothing's been done about it.
I should point out that that's not Gilmer County.
I'm sorry?
I should point out that that's not Gilmer
At the
County,
Hardee's?
that's the city of
How about
Elgin.
behind the Dairy Queen?
City of Elgin.
Yeah, well, we got to do something about that because it's eroding our banks. If you
It's a
come out
separate
there right-
entity.
I'm sorry?
It is a separate entity.
Well, something's got to be done about that, but that's a separate entity too that y'all about to dip the toe in. And if y'all are going to go up there and try to say, well, Gilmer County's going to regulate this waterway, I think that you're going to have a whole bunch of homeowners saying, it's not your waterway. We own that middle of that wall. And the other man owns that the other side. And Gary Foster actually donated his home to the kayaking community that his wife had disputed in this family, this, that, and the other. But he actually gave it to the kayakers and said, if you need a place for refuge. I sat down there behind his house. He's had people come up to him. He's dead. Jay's dead. Bob Bennett's dead. I've lived all the outfitters. And to be quite honest with you, the best outfitter that we've had come by our house in the most revelatory fashion is Carter K. River Experience. I mean, that's just flat out. As far as I can remember, in 1999, Larry Seabold was the officer. Not just 2 years ago when you hired somebody for the first time, but Larry Seabold, whatever he was, he ran that place down there. He did the Blackberry security. He was over there every Friday and Saturday night drinking beers with us on Gary Foster's board. Not that that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a real thing. As a homeowner, I oppose y'all coming out behind my house and telling me what I can and can't do in my river. And anybody else that wants to put in,
at their private property and float down to my private property. If they've got whatever they've got, they've got whatever they've got when they come down that river. It's just, it's unbelievable. When people came out and took a crap in my yard, we got them for indecent exposure. When they came out there and trashed all our trash, we got them for making a mess. It's not my responsibility, it's not your responsibility, it's their responsibility. If they're gonna put people on and they go from that put in to that take out, and they're accountable for, man, what you got in that cooler? I mean, I've heard it, I've been up there, I've got 4 kids, and we put on that river, and we come down that river every week, and we run the chili run in January. We start running down that river in February. I can't tell you how much nicer it is to have this man and that man go down that river in their canoes. They picked up 1,700 pounds of trash off that river. We sat up there, you say it's not Gilmer County. Did y'all clean out that bridge up there on Lower Carter? That's Gilmer County, right? Right there at their takeout, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we were told we couldn't put a chainsaw in that water, but y'all can put a hydraulic gradle and a backhoe and dig the stuff up and just release it downstream. And that's what you did. You just released it downstream, and it comes up behind our house and tore off our dog. It's torn up all kinds of stuff. Who's liable for that?
Jim, did we do that?
We removed the bridge.
I've got video
of any release of debris.
I've got video of them just going up there, breaking it loose and letting it, and the tree is still out there behind Woody's. I provided pictures. And I can do that for you. If you want to push this to another session, I can bring you a catalog of pictures of what's going on up there. I mean, I've lived there. There's a man, what's the name of the man up the street that runs up there by 52 that puts in?
It's
ERO.
ERO.
It's ERO.
Elevated river up.
Yeah, and he put the trash cans down there, and he says, oh man, we're gonna put the trash cans down there, we're gonna recycle this stuff. But man, they're just overwhelming. Woody comes down there, Dad comes down there, Philip comes down there, and they carry all the trash off. They pick it up. That guy provided the cans, but he never did any service about it. These two, if you walk up there, and Woody's like across from here, that gentleman over there, and he can hear a ding and the thing. He says, "Man, you got any glass in there?" "Oh, no, sir. I think I hear something." You know, I mean, that's just the way it's been. I've been up here since '99. What's that, 17 years now? And this is the best the river's looked. If you put in your boat, you ride down, it's clean. You ride down from the DNR down this way, ask Dad, what do we take off? 1,600 pounds of garbage from that location. I mean, that's not our job. As a community, it's our job, but it's not Gilmer County. If you got a problem with somebody peeing in your yard, you need to call the law, you know, and nip it in the bud. And that's what Gary Foster did, and Bob and Sue did next door to me, and I did, and Francis does now. We're the people who are at the takeout. We're the ones that put up with all the stuff. Where Yoko lived, I don't know if y'all know where that is. I live right across the street. Yoko, he came in there and he couldn't build that house, and he bought every lot up there so he could get permission to build his house. And he allowed people to come through his yard. So it was like, you know, everybody's done it for so long. And then when he lost his butt and everything else, and he gave up the house and this, that, and the other, things changed. The lady got up there and said, "She broke off the river. You can't pass through this." You know, it was pretty ridiculous, but I understand where she's coming from. Because Yoko had allowed it. Yeah, man. You've got kids, come on, they're gonna break their necks, get out over there. There's a nice sandy beach here, park your boat, just take that trail. He was real nice about it. Well, this place isn't so nice anymore. You know, I mean, I bought up here to be on that river. I bought up here to sit in my boat, float down to whoever's house I wanted to go to, take my beers with me, take my steaks with me, and sit down there and have a cookout on the deck that we had that y'all released the logs and wiped out my deck. You know, I mean, that's $4,000 that I'm out because some of that just can't get it out. So he just wiggles it, lets it go. The river was how many feet? 13 feet. We said 13 feet on on December 24th. All that stuff comes right up in our yard. The county didn't come clean it up. Woody can't clean it up. Dad can't clean it up. This man, he didn't come clean it up. He didn't clean it up. Gilmer didn't clean it up, but they forced it on them. We've lost half an acre of land because the bridge at 101 Lower Carter Cave was so messed up that it just deadheaded it. like this. And the bridge is warped. You know, I mean, it's just undermined the bridge, it's undermined the banks. We've lost 100-year-old oak trees, and it's because the county doesn't do their job. So don't step on our toes, and we won't step on y'all's toes. We'll help y'all. And that's what these men have done. They've got up there and they've helped you. And y'all want to slap him with $1 this or that and no liquor here. We don't put the liquor on the river. We don't sell the liquor. They don't sell the liquor. He doesn't sell the liquor. It's not our job to police the liquor. If you see the liquor, you see the drunk man, you call the law. That's why we have taxes, and that's why we pay. Yonge County loves to lock people up. I've been up there at the detention center. I've seen the inside of it. I know exactly what it's about. And they like that. So just call them. They'll come right out and lock you up. I don't think you have to go and police private property. You don't own the water that flows over my land. You don't.
No, it's with the state.
The EPA does. They own every drop, and they'll let you know it. That's all I'm really got to say. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make any comments? Item number 10.
So I would make a motion to adopt the first reading, yes.
Okay.
There's more to the process.
All right, tonight, what's on the agenda tonight is to adopt the first reader, which essentially sends it to the June meeting. So we do have a motion to adopt. We have a second. I'll second. I think it needs to go to.
Go ahead, you seconded it, and I will make a comment. There is another part of this process, and that will happen in the next month when we hold a public hearing, a second hearing or reading, I think, and then finally a final vote at that time will be scheduled. There are issues here. We have to face that. We have the, if I can use a word I learned the other day, conundrum, which means sort of an unsolvable problem. We will not be able to solve the problem easily. We may not be able to solve the problem, but we do have to recognize has been and will be a problem. And I think what I would do, I would agree, and when we vote, I will agree to extend this to next month's reading and have that. But I think we have to look at, are we solving the problem or are we not solving the problem that we see? And I don't have an answer on that yet. So I'm just going to say that I want to pursue it and have that process take place. And I will accept that process will come to closure next month. I think that's what will happen.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Next month, is there a way that, I know all this is probably going to continue. Is there a way we can, I guess, be a little more informed versus, I know the public paper and all, like an email or something, because everything's, electronic nowadays. I know you guys had a workshop yesterday that we could have probably been at if we had probably known a little bit better. Plus with all the river cleanup that we did last week, we were overwhelmed with everything going on. I'm not saying I don't read, but I don't read the paper continuously. I don't have the due diligence. Is there a way that I can be like on I guess if there's any issues regarding because this whole document right here, there's a few things on here that I'd like to, I guess, rebuttal on. And is there a way I can be informed a little bit better versus a newspaper, or is that no go? I got to go through the newspaper.
you publish the agenda anywhere else besides the newspaper?
Or can it be an email to me, you know, on your workshop type ads? I mean, can it?
The agenda, in addition to the newspaper ad that we run, we also run an ad in the agenda. And Fetcher News is kind enough to run that.
Okay.
We also have the agenda and the meeting times on the county's website.
Okay.
So you should be able to get it.
No, I understand that, but I mean, I know, I mean, we're the only ones really representing, you know, the river, the outfitters. I mean, we've been here basically, you know, we've done it. But is there a way that we can be called, or, I mean, just as a courtesy, I say, hey, you know, we got something on the Board of Commissioners this week. Make sure, you know, leave voicemail. Like I left a voicemail this morning for you.
Yes.
Regarding the, you know, to throw away the trash that we picked up.
You did, and I didn't get a chance to return it.
That's fine, that's fine, yeah, you're busy. Yeah, same thing, but I mean, just leave a voicemail or something, hey, Woody, you need to be here, we have a workshop, or something. I mean, I don't want to put you out or anything, or something.
You got your calendar with you on your phone?
Probably not. I don't know how to use that electronic stuff, Travis.
Like a piece of paper?
Yeah, I need a pen now.
A voicemail might be problematic because we have to, if we open this up, we're opening it up to the entire county.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Now, what I don't
So,
mind, and what,
June 8th is the workshop,
Okay,
8 a.m. And you know where that is?
yeah, right down over there.
All right. June 9th, 6 p.m. here.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with the idea of an email list. Be happy to start an email list and put you on it, that we email the agenda to every month.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have a problem with that.
Because I mean, they're,
Yeah.
hey,
In fact, we
there's
have that, we
measures.
can just add you to it.
Are we gonna go over this other document, the commercial river outfitting in the unincorporated areas of the county, or have we pushed that back now, or is that gonna be covered today also?
Which document?
Chapter 40, commercial river outfitters in the unincorporated areas of the county.
All that will be done is to authorize the advertisement of it, so it will be discussed in June.
Okay, so we're kind of sliding her back a little bit.
And the next meeting's June 9th, you said?
June 8th for the workshop.
And for anybody that would like to be added to the email list, to have the agenda, the dates and agenda sent to you, just make sure that Kim get your email address, and we will happily put you on there.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second to continue this to the June meeting, which is the procedure on it, change like this,
It's actually to approve the first reading tonight.
which has the effect of,
I don't want it to make it look like y'all are tabling it.
no, I'm sorry. By approving the first reader tonight, the net effect is that we go to the next meeting, which is the next step in the process. Changing an ordinance is a 3-month process. So we do have a motion and a second to amend the first reader tonight, therefore sending it to the June meeting. Are there any other comments or questions before we vote? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, can I make a statement that I'd like recorded into the minutes?
Yes.
Please. Yes, the name of our business includes the word outfitter. We do not participate in any river-related activities, shuttles, guide service, anything to do with the river, nor will we. I'll go ahead and say that. We will never do that. We are not in that business. I'll let that know.
Thank you.
Chairman. Woody, after y'all have had a chance to look at that proposed ordinance,
Yes, sir.
if you could, give us the benefit of your comments before that work session.
Yeah.
That's how the timber ordinance worked, and after we kind of got everything cleaned up there a little bit, I think that it was an acceptable ordinance, and I think that by the participation early on, it moved that along a lot smoother.
Yeah, it was quick and easy. That's why I thought we were kind of done with it. I didn't know it was going to this. I'm sorry I wasn't here at the workshop yesterday also. Sorry about that. Usually I am if it has something to do with it because I do represent an outfitter. I mean, and we do water activities. I mean, that's our main corporation within the county. So yeah, I definitely do that. Do you have an email version of this so I can kind of put my rebuttals within that, or
Kim, we can share that with you.
an email version? No, I mean
It is, it's in a digital version.
there is there, if you can send that, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna give you the emails. You can just send the email, it's gonna be Woody Jansen on there, and then I can kind of distribute, and then that, or, you know, maybe final time.
We'll get you a copy of that now, will you?
All right, cool, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Adopting the first reader to amend Article 11, Chapter 10, titled Alcoholic Beverages of the Gilmer County Code. Okay, do we have anyone here? This is the one where we will be making some very slight changes to requirements to obtain a beer wine license. Is there anyone here that has questions or would like to comment on that particular change? If not, do we have a motion to adopt the first reader on this?
So moved.
A second. All in favor?
Now, before we vote, may I make a comment?
Absolutely.
Don't want to be left out. These changes, as you said, are not really necessarily major changes. They are significant changes to the ordinance, but it's my judgment that we are not really making any changes in terms of either promoting or discouraging alcoholic beverage consumption with this ordinance change. We are not addressing any of the issues that we have in the county with the alcohol abuse, and that's not what this ordinance is for. This ordinance is to direct and control who can sell alcoholic beverages in the county and how much they can sell and where they can sell it. It is a significant change in that we do have a restriction on only locations at the state road level and not at a county road level. That's a significant one. We do have reduced distances between outlets, which is there. But I do not see these changes as having any benefit or any negative aspect to the economic condition of our county, of our taxes, of our either for or against revenue. It will not have any significant impact. And for that reason, I think, in my mind, it is not helpful for what we need from an economic development standpoint in this county. There's been several comments in our workshop yesterday and today in the public hearing. We would like to see our economy grow. I personally do not want to see that economy grow on alcoholic sales. I think that's the wrong basis for growing our economy in this county. However, I'd also want to say it is not the government's job to tell me as a private citizen what I can consume and what I cannot. I think that's the other side of that. This ordinance, if approved, I think next month, is that the final vote for it? If approved, would benefit one or two businesses in this county. I do believe it will hurt one or two businesses in this county, so it tends to balance out overall for the county. So those are my comments I want to make. I don't like making decisions that have no impact on our citizens. I think that's, if we're going to make decisions and we're going to be commissioners, we need to make decisions that have an impact. We may be wrong and make a negative impact, but we need to make decisions that have a positive long-term impact on our county. And I think this is not going to do much of anything for our county. So those are my comments, and we'll have opportunities next month to talk further. Thank you, Charlie.
I should mention as well that we did have a discussion at the workshop, fairly lengthy discussion yesterday regarding the state road aspect of this. And it was determined at that point that we would continue to go with the state road. However, for those businesses that are not on the state road that currently have a license, those businesses' locations would be grandfathered, so that if at some point the owner of that business wanting to sell the business, that location would, in that sale, would continue to be eligible for a beer and wine license. Now, whoever buys the business is still going to have to qualify for that, just like anybody else would, but they would not be automatically eliminated because they're not on a state road. So those businesses that are not currently on the state road will be grandfathered, so that they will not suffer any decrease in value or loss as a result of not being able to sell with the possibility of a beer and wine license going with it.
Well, one more comment, Charlie. I want to actually commend my fellow commissioners, because this has been the most divisive probably issue we've had to deal with as a new board of commissioners for this last year. This is not easy. It has been handled, as far as I want to say, easily and appropriately and directly and above board, and there has been real diligence in trying to reach what is an ordinance that improves things. I know the citizens in this county have different views. We, as you can tell on the board, have different views. I want to say that that's part of the American way, and I appreciate their work that they've done on this. My input has been accepted on it. We've worked diligently to make this happen, and I don't want anybody to think that we haven't given it as much thought as we can. It's taken a long time, and I want the public to know that I think the job of working on this has been done in a proper manner. I just want to thank you. That's publicly, I want to make that up for the record.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate that. Okay, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution to approve the disposal method for 2016 White Path Golf Course surplus equipment. You may have noticed, and this is one of the things that we talked about in terms of advertising, there was an advertisement in this week's paper stating that we have several items of equipment out at the golf course that we need to dispose of. We've had to run that ad at a time when we had people who are interested in buying that equipment, and we've had to simply say, and believe me, this is equipment I want to sell to somebody. And we've had to say, hang on, because we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks and advertise this in the paper. Because we had not completed the ordinance that we discussed earlier here at the time, that would allow us to dispose of this without advertising it. We have advertised it. At this point, we are looking to formally have a resolution on disposing of this equipment. So with that said, does anybody have any questions on what we're doing here with the White Path Golf Course surplus equipment? Yes, sir.
Will it be
bid off at auction, or will it be solid bid, or how we all expose that?
That's what we will determine here tonight. What I'm anticipating, and it may, may turn out that way or may not, it depends on what the other commissioners think, but my perspective on that would be to ask Mike Brumby to dispose of it in whatever manner he feels would best suit the county, would be best for the county. This is equipment that, again, some of it is functional a little bit, some of it's not. And we have people who are interested in purchasing it, a couple of different folks. Yeah, we can auction it off, or we can just accept their price, and that's what we'll decide here.
Need a list?
Okay. So do we have any discussion on this?
I would just recommend we allow Mike to dispose of the FCC's bid.
I would second that.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
You should go ahead and get a copy of the list and then just give Mike a call in the morning. This is, I suspect, and we just kind of voted to leave it up to him, but I suspect it's probably going to be first come, first served. Okay, resolution on licensing of river outfitters. This would be basically an approval to advertise this and get the, I mentioned before that this is a 3-month process anytime you do anything like this. So this would be the beginning of that 3-month process. We'll be advertising it and getting it ready to proceed at the next, proceed further at the next meeting. Does anybody have any questions or comments on advertising for the resolutions on licensing of river outfitters? Yes, sir. Okay.
I think Woody misunderstood it. He thought you guys were going to table this when I left, so.
Well, we're just going to vote to advertise it. We're not taking action on it tonight. But
You're not taking any action on it?
Other than advertising it for next month.
Oh, okay, very good. Then I'll limit my comments. First of all, I have no business relationship with Woody. And the only reason why I know him is because I floated down the river, had a great time. Remember our roommates, when we have people come out of town, I always send them to Amarillo Fall and down to Woody. So when you do the math on what this guy's doing, he's bringing in, like, when they say 500 a day, 4,000 people a week. Times 4, 16, and then that's for maybe, that's a significant impact, a positive impact. And I think from what these guys are saying, they're practically stewards of the river. This appears to be legislation targeting that specific company. There might be another company of the river, but it just seems like this is about Woody's business. And when I see government come in and create a whole set of regulations, and now you want a piece of his business, and you're asking him to keep all of these papers and stuff, it's just, I think it's overkill. I don't know really what the political ramifications are behind, what's moving all of this, but it's bothered me a little bit. It's unenforceable. It creates an undue burden on somebody who's really doing some good work up there. If you guys drive him out of business, who is going to clean that river? The county? What are you going to do with this dollar? What are you going to do with this dollar? Is it just going to go into the general fund?
No, it's stated in there what's done.
Okay, well, can you clarify?
It's to be reinvested in that river corridor for upgrades, for parking, changing facilities, those are examples. But it goes into a fund specifically for that river corridor. It cannot be used for anything else.
For now. For now.
It's in the ordinance.
But once the system is established, it can be modified. And then it could be $2, it could be $5, then it could be, well, it needs to go to the general fund, we got to pay for bonds or another police car or something like that.
I think that could be said.
My main concern is this is over-regulation. There's no, obviously, listening to the testimony of the two gentlemen here, This is just a little bit of overkill. You know, there's somebody behind this. This is not a problem that government needs to solve, because there doesn't seem to be a problem. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Any other comments or questions? We have a motion to proceed on this.
Is that a motion or is that a request for a
If
motion?
there was a question.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I'll make a motion.
no,
Well, then I will.
okay.
Okay. This would just be simply to advertise it for future meetings.
Right.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. The last item of official business on here is to consider a resolution approving a moratorium on motocross tracks. And the reason behind that is that with the recent issue that we've had with motocross tracks, we have discovered, and this is not limited to motocross tracks, we've found this on a number of different items in our land use ordinance, that we have a lot of deficiencies there, and one of them is not properly addressing motocross tracks. We have been promising for a year, and we're ready to get started on a total and complete overhaul of the land use ordinance that will hopefully correct a lot of the deficiencies in there that have caused us problems in the past. Because this was not a land use ordinance originally that somebody sat down and said, let's see what we can do for Gilman County. This was kind of a cut and paste from another area. So we do need to look at a number of different features of the land use ordinance as it pertains to agriculture, as it pertains to various items such as motocross tracks, wedding venues, and so forth. In the meantime, we are discussing the possibility of simply limiting or placing a moratorium on motocross track until we can decide with the land use ordinance exactly how we'd like to handle motocross tracks. So that's the thinking behind it. We have any questions or any comments? Yes, sir.
How do you interact with the commission about what you decide to do as far as not only moratorium, beyond that?
I'm sorry, how do we
We'd like some input into what your thoughts are on any kind of motocross.
my thoughts on any kind of motocross?
I would like to be able to give my thoughts on.
Certainly. But I can't hear you, so I would like for you to.
I would certainly favor regulating motocross. And I'd also like to have some input into what those regulations might be. I don't want any in my backyard, and I want to make sure that I have an opportunity to express that.
Well, when we do the revisions to the land use ordinance, which would include the motocross revisions, that again is going to be a 3-month process, and it will start out, David, now if I say something wrong, stop me. It'll start out with us saying that we're going to advertise that we're going to be modifying the land use ordinance. At that point, after it's advertised, for the next month, we would have a public comment section, our public comment meeting, where we would invite anybody to come in and we can go over what's going to be changed and accept any comments that anybody wants to make on that. At the meeting that would follow that, we would have another discussion about it and vote to I'm not going to say to send it forward, I would say to accept the first reader, I believe is what. But essentially then that would send it forward to the third meeting. At the third meeting, if it's then voted on and approved, it becomes official. So there's going to be multiple opportunities for people to see what proposed changes are and to comment on those
Who
changes.
will actually do the drafting of the land use proposal?
That's going to be kind of a combination effort. We're asking our planning and zoning department to take the lead on it. Then it'll come to the commissioners for their input. I have met with members of the agricultural community to get their input already and to see what concerns they have. So I myself have that list that I'll be.
How can I have voiced my opinions at that beginning stage as opposed to after reviewing what has already been decided upon?
Just verbally, or would an email suffice, or what do you want?
Email or just exactly what you're thinking about so that I can interact with it?
I would say what I would recommend would be just send me an email with it. We can just shoot emails back and forth.
Sure.
If you'd rather make an appointment, come to the office, I'm open to that.
No, I want to take your time up. I just want to see what the works are before they're done.
Let me give you my email address.
I got it. I've already communicated with you.
Yeah, just shoot me an email with your thoughts, and we can communicate back and forth with you.
The review will be of the entire land use plan. It's never really been revisited since it was enacted in.
Yes.
So it's 11 years old, and a few things have happened that have revealed some weaknesses and some areas that have changed and some trends that are in place that weren't anticipated and so forth. So it's going to be time to revisit the whole thing, and that's going to take probably 60 days before it comes back here.
Any other comments or questions on the approval of a moratorium for motocross tracks? I would make a motion that we initiate a moratorium on all motocross tracks that would begin immediately and would expire on December 31st, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, would you be willing to amend that to include an extension of the moratorium that's in place on drug rehab, because it's about to run out?
I would amend it for that, as long as we can do that within the agenda. So, yeah.
How long would that be extended?
Until December, well, 12/30. For my motion, it will be December 31st, 2016.
Well, based on that, I'll second it.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. And now we come to the part that I know you all are anxious for, which is citizens wishing to speak. Anybody can comment on anything, any subject.
I'll go first.
All right.
Good evening, board. Good evening, citizens. My name is Rick Day. I'm a volunteer advocate for citizens of Gilbert County. Basically, people contact me when they have some issues or concerns with government or things that are going on in the neighborhood. And so they contact me, and I act as an unbiased spokesperson, ombudsman, if you would, because some people are just too intimidated by government sometimes, or they are too negative, pessimistic about it. So they come to me, so I come to you. For the last couple of months, I've been taking a lot of calls and stuff, and there's a lot of beefs, a lot of graphs and stuff. So you really have to cull through everything and try to get to the serious things. And so tonight, I want to bring forward the board two issues that are environmental in nature. The first one is a complaint that I got from a man in Whitestone. There is some type of mining operation going on there where stone is being taken. There has been a complaint that there's some nefarious activity going on there, over mining, affluent flowing into other people's private properties. So I believe a citizen came and addressed this board I believe his response to me was that the board didn't know anything about it, but then nothing ever happened. So I wanted to follow up with that, see if we could have the appropriate environmental person go out and go to Whitestone, go talk to those neighbors and see what their issues are, and then report back and see if there's some illegal activity going on there. The second one is one of the tremendous environmental concern to me. I was looking at a piece of property on Old Falls Church Road, which is off of Gilmer County. And there's a piece of property there, and it's got a pond. And then the pond runs off, and then it runs down into a stream. The stream eventually runs into, I believe, Mountain Creek, and then into the waterway there. I walked the back of the property, and on either side, it's like looking at a little valley. And there's natural springs that bubble up, and they come down, and they fill a pond. And then the pond then continues to drain off and drain on. What I found is that that area is surrounded by chicken farms. And what you can see from the air is that there's ditches that have been dug from the property around that go down into that ditch. So all of the effluent from the chicken farms are coming down into that property. Now what's happened is when you go and look at that pond, it is green. It's not green from algae, it's green from cyanobacteria, which is very deadly. Any pet that got into that would die, any person that got in there, anybody that ate a fish, and there are people that go up there and fish on that vacant property, could get sick. And so when I contacted the realtor, he knew about it, and he did not want to do anything about it, because obviously that has a negative impact on the property. Now, I don't know who is responsible for that, whether it's the property owner or whether it's the surrounding chicken farm, but that's a mess up there. And I would suggest that y'all go up on Old Falls Church Road, just drive straight up until you can't go any farther. There's a place for sale there, the mobile home. Behind it, there's a leaking dike. The dike is leaking, so if it breaks, all of that water will come down, washing down across a family. And I know they have a family because they have a trampoline and bicycle there within 100 feet of that. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And so I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the commissioners. These are the type of things that I look for, not little beefs with the sheriff's something like that. I'm looking for the big things that kind of get shut. So I'm challenging the board to come up with some type of system that can address these environmental concerns, because in the end, that's all we have is our land. I'm going to close with one more thing. This county is a conundrum. It's in a conundrum. It's also a dichotomy. A dichotomy is, it seems to be one thing, but it seems to be another. We need to look at a quality of life here. When we look at how this county, Gilmer County, ranks with other counties, the other 159 counties in Georgia, we're pretty darn healthy. We're like 145th in cancer, 147th in liver disease, 149th in diabetes, all these things, but we're 14th in suicide. We're 14th in suicide. What is going on in our county that is causing this to happen? Now, we all have read the stories about people my age, boomers, white male boomers, that for some reason have given up on their lives. We need to reach out to these people, and not more than just print a suicide prevention ad and a feel-good thing. We've got some people in this community that are hurting. And I don't know how this commission can approach this, but we've got a problem, and the numbers don't lie here. We're not dying because we're sick. We're dying because we're sick of living. And that's bad. That's bad, because we have a beautiful place here. So thank you very much for your time. I'll be back next month with more good things. I look forward to hearing from you on these issues.
Mr. Day, I appreciate you bringing these things to our attention, and I appreciate the fact that you will continue to try to find these things to bring to our attention. I would appreciate it even more if you could have some possible solutions with you when you come to these things.
Okay, I will try to do that, because I do believe that you shouldn't come to somebody with problems. There's no problem, it's just an issue that requires a solution. Some of these solutions may be very heavy-handed, like bringing in the Environmental Protection Agency and stuff like that. I'd rather keep this in-house. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys kind of handle it for now, because we don't want you to bring the feds in and getting all mad at the chicken farmers and everybody looking at all the chicken farms and stuff for problems. We just don't need that. But we don't need bad stewardship on the properties, okay? But I will try to come back with some solution for you, and I'll try to address these to you personally as well as publicly.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, sir.
Good luck, Al.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to make any comment about anything?
Good evening. My name is Robert Cummings. I live in Alden Creek Circle, and up in LJ. And I would like to thank, on behalf of most of the people here that were opposed to the motocross track and to the moratorium, supporting the moratorium. We appreciate the board's decision, and we appreciate the zoning board, the commissioners, everybody for what you've done for us and retaining our quality of life. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, anybody else? If not, I sure would like to hear a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, folks, we appreciate it.
Will we have action?
I ain't going anywhere.
Are you again? Hey, good to see you.
I'm just saying, look close.
Yeah, that's the first time I got
This shoot straight.